Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. It is Saturday, 8:01. Sorry, I am 1 minute late, but YouTube Studio changed how I go live, and it kind of freaked me out for a minute. So I think we're live. We got a couple of people out there. Do me a favor, if you're one of the first people to join, send me a quick chat. Let me know that the system is still working as I expect. Good morning, everyone. How you doing? Again, we will get started momentarily. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And I guess while we wait for people to join, I just want to highlight all the amazing stuff I have in process to add to the course. Right, I have a course called "How to Get Started One Rental at a Time" that started as my how-to guide. How do we do it? How do we take one rental at a time and grow it into a portfolio that we could retire on? What I'm doing now is I'm adding experts to the series, right? We've already got flipping and all those other things. So thank you for letting me know we're live. Good. So I need to worry about it. But right now I'm adding information from PropStream. PropStream is our newest expert every other Thursday. PropStream is how you get access to data. Again, it's pulled data from all kinds of places. I wish I had this 20 years ago when I was trying to learn my market. It would have been so much easier. Last week, I think we talked about a buy box and how do if you really want to go deep in your buy box, how you could do that. Very cool stuff. And again, some data is being added just for students in the course that will hopefully go live this weekend. I want to create a introduction so you could see how I would use it, what it means to me, and things of that nature. Second, I am working with a friend in my network. Again, your network is your net worth. Alicia Merriman. If you don't know who she is, you need to look her up. She is an Airbnb queen. She has agreed to create some data for us around Airbnb, and she sent over the first video this morning. I will, of course, review it, but expect to have a brand new bonus section probably within the next 10 days with Airbnb. Because again, one thing you will see on my channel is I only talk about what I do. I don't talk about what I read. I go out and get other experts. So Airbnb is coming. And then finally, I've just gotten confirmation from someone I trust around BRRRR: buy, repair, rent, refi, repeat. This individual has been on my channel before. I consider him a friend, and he has used BRRRR really from nothing to create a portfolio in excess of 50 units. So we are going to talk about that. So again, lots more stuff coming to the course, how to get started one rental at a time. It, of course, gives you access to the private Facebook group, which is amazing, almost 1,000 people strong, and motivation and positive. And of course, I talk to them at 9 a.m. So again, $299. You're going to get that back likely in your first month of cash flow. It will change your life, not to mention Mortgage 101, which just one of those videos from Matt the Mortgage Guy could save you $1,000 on your mortgage. So really, it pays for itself. So pretty cool stuff. All right, there you go. I bought time for 5 minutes or so. Oh, 3 minutes. There we go. So let's see. We're going to go here first. So the most frequent comment on my channel, most frequent, is the following or a version slightly of it. It says, "You will own nothing and be happy." I got to admit, when I first started seeing this quote or this statement a year ago, I had no idea what it was in reference to. I have now seen it 1,000 times. And, I don't know, probably 500 times ago, I finally had to look it up. It's actually a quote from Russell Brand. At least that's where I see it sourced by, but it's obviously in reference to the Great Reset. This proclamation about some uber set of individuals that are puppet masters that are going to, I don't know, control everything. And by 2030, you will own nothing and be happy. This has come to light personally for me. I have a family member who believes it 100%. that they will own nothing, or the world will own nothing, that there's some uber force out there controlling everything. And yeah, she believes it. And so much so that I have had to stop following her and told her stop sending me stuff, because it's not helpful. It's it's um it's I don't believe there is an Uber organization of 100 or 50 or 10 or whatever. And yes, I know about the World Economic Forum, and I know about Klaus, and I know about all these things. But just think about it, at least how I think about it, right? We can't even get states to agree, let alone the country, let alone the world. Um, what I see again in this one individual is someone who feels stuck. This individual is close to my age, and they feel stuck. They have made life choices that have put them in a position that I would not want to be in. They feel like they don't have any, they can't do anything. They're just stuck. They want to blame others for their being stuck, my opinion. Um, they want to blame the school system. They want to blame the government. They want to blame this. They want to blame that. Well, why don't you step back and be an adult for a minute and realize that we both came from the same situation. They chose one way, I chose another. It's not too late. You can control the future, at least your personal future. You can make different choices. You are never stuck. I see in one of the comments about my next book. My next book is really for the person that feels stuck. I didn't put the connection together until just right now. When I wrote this first book, One Rental at a Time, it was our story. Our story will resonate with a small percentage of the world, likely full time employees raising a family that want a better future. That's our story. It kind of makes sense. But the next book is a story of 15 people that came from all different walks of life that achieved something in 15 different ways. So that's what the next book is about. I'm trying to build one rental at a time. Yes, that's the brand, into something that inspires everyone. That's why we have 7 multimillionaires or 8 multimillionaires, because I don't know it all and I won't talk about things I don't know. But we have too many people in society today that feel stuck. That's unfortunate. As I've talked with each of my experts this week, a lot of people are missing hope, because in order to get on the financial freedom journey or buy my course and do the work, you have to have hope, because I'm not giving you a red or blue pill. I'm asking you to do work. I'm asking you to sacrifice. I'm asking for daily discipline. I'm asking for focus. And that's not what we're good at. We just want to float around and be in the rat race and go on and get more debt and do all of these things. So when I think about the statement, you will own nothing and be happy, that is the ultimate consumerism. We just rent everything. We don't buy cars anymore. We rent them as needed. We don't do this. We don't do that. Sorry, folks. I'm going to own stuff. I'm not going to let others use it. It's no. If I own nothing, I won't be happy. And then the last thing about this, again, this is personal. It's we vastly disagree, and I won't talk about it anymore with this family member. But I have been to Russia. I went to Russia 10 years ago, I think. It might have been 12. And I've seen communism up close and personal. I've seen what own nothing means. And trust me, they are not happy. Owning nothing, letting some central organization, you know, do what they do, the population is not happy. I have never been in a country where more people were miserable. I've been probably to 80 countries in my life. And without question, Russia, the population, the people, not happy. The cab drivers, the clerks, the people shopping, no one is happy. So I'm not a believer. I believe individuals need to take ownership of their own choices. That's why I have a course called Get Your Money Right, and it starts with choices. That's what I believe. If you want to blame some Uber organization out there with some master plan that's, whatever, go nuts. I'm not listening. I will start deleting the comment, you will own nothing and be happy. It's just not what I want to do. I would much rather sacrifice, focus, live below my means. I don't want consumer debt. The fact that more and more folks are buying fancy clothes and kind of renting them. I mean, ah, where's personal ownership, personal accountability? And again, this individual in my family grew up in the same environment I did, chose different things. You get what you get. Stop blaming the school system. Stop blaming the government. Own your own decisions. But I guess that's not fun anymore. We always want to blame others. So whatever. All right. So next topic. Banks tightening. I got this a couple of times. A couple of people have reached out to me and said, banks tightening is a sign that they see something that we don't. The notion is banks are tightening, we're going to have a real estate crash. That's kind of what I'm sensing. And hopefully by now you know where I come down on that. But let's talk about it, because I believe banks are tightening. I believe without question banks are tightening. But unlike folks that see that activity and go, "Oh my God, the economy, it's in trouble, blah, blah, watch out." It's actually far more easy than that. And this actually goes back to, remember that example of Wells Fargo? I think it was a month ago. There were a couple of YouTube channels that saw the Wells Fargo uh, canceling personal credit lines. And they thought that was some super secret, hand signal that the world was ending. And I brought you, data in 24 hours that brought you the accounting reasons why they had to do it and why it was a great idea for their stockholders. Same deal here with mortgage lending. Without question, mortgage lending is harder today than it was last year. Folks, it should be. It should be harder today. Banks should only be lending to the most credit-worthy borrowers today. You know why? Because if they have borrowers that are borrowing today, there have been people that bought a home and went into foreclosure moratoriums immediately. They never made a payment. That has happened. Banks are bending over backwards to try to help us through this. But banks are spending money, expenses, building teams and systems to kind of work through this moratorium. They do not want more people in it. If banks were truly getting paid big money to forbearance everyone, believe me, lending would be much, much easier today. But they're not. They want to get paid their mortgage payments. So, of course, if you are a credit borrower and you are right on the cusp, they're going to say no. They should. Banks are acting in their best interest today. That's why lending is down. And also, if you take the reverse of that, once we get out of this nonsense environment, banks will open the floodgates and start lending to more people. So I would argue or postulate or theorize or whatever you want to call it, that bank lending should be tight today. Banks should only lend to the most qualified buyers or borrowers or whatever word you want to use. But I also believe, and I've been watching lending for 20 years, that as this Delta thing gets behind us and the economy gets cranking and we start adding millions of jobs a month, banks are going to start lending and you are going to be shocked at the activity that happens. So that's what I see coming with banks. I do not see banks tightening as some secret under the table hand signal like get out. My opinion only. Tenant horror stories I was asked about. How do you avoid them? It all starts with tenant selection. Most horror stories that I've encountered over the years are with landlords who did not do proper tenant screening. Tenant horror stories happen. I've been doing this 20 years, thousands of tenants now. And I have 2 or 3 horror stories. Probably 5. I have 5 horror stories. The whole professional tenants thing is real. Somebody ran me through an eviction that took 11 months instead of 2. It does happen. They certainly happen. But it all starts with tenant selection and then how you treat tenants, right? The rules, the engagements, audit trail, tracking communication, not taking partial payments. I mean, there are things that professional tenants will work to their system. But yeah, it all goes with um, the landlord kind of running a good business. You can still have horror stories. I remember one of the tenants that turned into was great for 3 or 4 years. And then unfortunately, they got addicted to drugs, and suddenly a great tenant was not a great tenant. So they do happen, but realize that's part of the business. Also realize they happen less frequently than you expect. Just like crash videos get all the views, tenant horror stories get all the press. What I like to tell you, of the thousands of tenants that I have had, 95% of them are awesome, hardworking individuals that just want a safe and secure place to live. 95%. 3.5% need to be reminded occasionally to pay rent. They just need to be reminded. And oh, by the way, they pay the late fee. That leaves about 1.5% that are not a lot of fun. You manage the 1.5 by having great tenant selection, and then you manage them by having rules of the road and not making exceptions. Yeah, so tenant horror stories are just like crash videos. Everybody clicks on them, they want to hear about them, but they very rarely happen. Unless you're not doing your job as a landlord, that's for sure. The eviction moratorium continues. We are exactly where I thought we would be on the exact date. Friday was the date that I thought the appeals court would finally rule. I thought it would do it in the afternoon, and they did. Now we see if the Supreme Court does what they should do. This is where we were always going to get. Now, is the Supreme Court going to take it before they're back in session on October 4th, I believe? Or are they just going to let it sit there, hope it runs out, and kind of kick the can down the road? I don't know. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what the attorneys were telling me. It actually got to this point right as I told you, 10 to 15 business days. This started August 3rd. It is now August 21st. That's really fast for the legal system. You and I may not think it's fast. You and I know it's going on 14 months, but we are where we are. Now the Supreme Court, and specifically Brett Kavanaugh, needs to step up and do the right thing. We're going to see. Moment of truth. Does the Constitution matter or not? We are going to know probably in the next week. We'll know in the next week what they're going to do. So pretty interested about that. Looks like more and more people are starting to understand my opinion about residential housing not crashing. I think I beat that to death over the last couple of weeks. But I do see problems in commercial real estate. I could do a crash video on multifamily. Absolutely. I could do a crash video on malls. I could do a crash video on office. And a lot of it's because of the debt structure. Yesterday, I did 2 or 3 videos on what it would take to have a housing crash bigger than the last one. And some of those numbers were scary, right? 54% of properties were REOs, 3 million foreclosures, scary stuff. But the reason is because the lending base of residential is like granite today, not termite written lumber like 08 or 06 or whatever year you want to put. However, the debt structure in commercial is termite ridden. There are absolutely problems in termite or in multifamily. That is why you're seeing me raise cash. I'm taking units that I own free and clear and getting debt, fixed rate 30-year debt, because I want to go shopping in multifamily in a year and a half when rates go up. That is my plan. I'm always tell you what I'm doing. So I will be, Jamie Dimon. I will let cash sit on the sidelines and be eaten away by inflation. And then I will pounce on 2, 3, 4, 5 great deals in multifamily. Probably late 22, 23, right? 2022, 2023. I do see a problem there. I got one more topic, folks. And remember, I will be answering your questions. I will just scroll to the top here in a minute and we will go through those. If you haven't got the course, the $99 course called Get Your Money Right, it's time. and this really goes back to my whole you'll own nothing and be happy. There's two things that are right up front. First, we have a budget kind of tracking provided to us by Lumberjack landlord. I want you to guess what you spend every month and then track it. Most people that spend the time doing that are shocked, and that's a problem. But second, I want you to go through your own choices exercise. The choices exercise really shows you that you control this. If you want to, you could back off your expenses. We made choices to spend 100% of our income down to 50. They were uncomfortable. We had to give up some things, but it was our choices. That allowed us to save, that allowed us to invest, that allowed us to go forward. And then choices is also fun because then you get to think about the big Mac Daddy, right? Where do we want to live when we're done? How many houses do we want? How many cars do we want? Choices is a fun exercise because it allows you to go back and also allows you to look forward. So that is a course that I highly recommend. If you really want to start talking money, understand we should be talking time, not price tags. We should get our kids involved. Lots and lots of stuff going on. So that's what I got for you today. I came prepared. Let's see what questions we have. Going back to the top, folks. Good morning, Nathan. How are you? Oh, Lumberjack Landlord, we're live. Thank you. Tamika, good morning. Beverly, good morning. JC, great to see your internet is back. Yeah. So far, Comcast, thumbs up. AT&T, thumbs down. Lois Minnie, good morning. How are you? Chano, good morning. Orat, broadcasting loud and clear. Appreciate it. Nathan, good morning. How's the new book going? It's going great. I have completed my draft. It has gone through 2 rounds of editing. I think the book internal is 95% done. Now we are designing the book cover and the back of the book, which is a lot harder than you would think. So it took me about a year to write it. It's taken me 30 to 40 days to edit it. Now we're working on the book cover. Once the book cover is done, we will order what's called proofs. I will probably show you the proofs when I get them. I would hope to have proofs inside 2 or 3 weeks. And then hopefully it's up on Amazon in a month. That's my hope. So I'm really excited about it. And again, I wrote it for you, all of you, because I know my story resonates with only a small percent. So I spent a year crafting 15 stories to give back. So yeah, thank you for asking. I'm pretty excited. Good morning, Sarn. How are you? Good morning, Michael. And Happy, yes, Happy's downstairs sleeping. Newest member to our family. Yes. Yep, she's going to my plan with Happy, if you don't know who Happy is, you missed my daily financial news. We got a new puppy yesterday. She's so cute. So yeah, thank you. So she's going to be my co-host at 7:30 for the daily financial news. So yes, you will likely see her almost every day. Elizabeth, as a former analyst for banks, they are managed by political cronies and they don't understand basic math. Analysts repeat what other analysts say because there's no risk stating the status quo. Yes. We don't think banks know more than we do. Yes, I would agree. I have lots of decent to good relationships with people in the banking system, both at community and on Wall Street. And yeah, they most of them are simply operating not to get fired, especially the guys I know on Wall Street, right? They make oodles of money. Most of them are operating not to get fired, which is sad. So they just repeat, so they stay inside their activities. So yeah, it's kind of funny, actually. Lumberjack, banks are full of sheep, largely speaking. One bank tightens and they all, yep, there's a reaction. Healthier banks start to tighten and gain telephone. Yep, totally agree. It's not a sign that the market is falling off a cliff. The puppy is sleeping, Nathan. She was a little squirmy on the first call, so I let her go to sleep. She's 10 weeks, I think. So yeah, we're still trying to figure it out. Where do you see commercial real estate, office, retail, multifamily going in the future? Well, my crystal ball, Nathan, is as good as yours or as broken as yours. For me, it's about the debt structure. I think the debt structure is broken. There are too many deals being done today with mezzanine financing or short-term money. I do see rates going up, which is going to hurt expenses, probably cause cap rates to rise. I see, I see, I see, I see pain. I also see opportunity in commercial. It's what I am raising capital for sure. Any thoughts on the long-term debt cycle ending and its impact on stocks and real estate? I think at some point it has to end, no doubt, but it likely will not end in my lifetime. I think the Fed is certainly trapped. I think the Fed is kind of upper bound on rates. I think they go higher, but they don't go crazy. Uh, I am really starting to believe we are repeating the 70s. The question I haven't answered for myself yet is, are we in the early, mid, or late 70s today? And if you don't know about the 70s, you need to go back and look at my 50-year spreadsheet. I think we are in an environment like the 70s where incomes go up. Look at the 70s. There were like 5 or 6 years in a row where incomes went up 7, 8, 9%. I think the cap was 11% in 1 year. Crazy. 1 year. I think we're in an environment where rates go up. Again, late 70s into the 80s, rates went up 800 basis points. I really do think we are repeating the 70s. In fact, that's why I told you yesterday or the day before, I want to research Jimmy Carter. I think our current administration is doing the same kind of activities as Jimmy Carter, just called different activities. And it will end with the same kind of results. And if that's true, I want to know who made a lot of money and, or who got set up during Jimmy Carter and then who profited. Was it Ronald Reagan after Carter? I think it was, right? Basically, if you see stress like the 70s and stress of the Carter administration, what things can I do now to profit from what will be Reagan's 8-year run in the 80s? That's what I'm actively doing. And I've talked about it on this channel. So I don't see some Uber force collapsing everything and I don't see, what is it? Venezuela was the latest kind of socialist economy to blow up. What was their currency? The Bolivar or something? Where they have to start whacking off zeros, right? $1 million is worth a quarter. I don't see that here. And again, I don't see it. It could absolutely happen, just probably not in my lifetime. I think it happens a lot slower than lots of people think. Again, my opinion. Love to hear others. I mean, I know there are lots of people out there that think it's going to end in the near future. I just don't see it. Question: how many pages is the new book? Oh, that's a good question. So far, I actually don't know the answer. We're editing it on 8.5 by 11 sheets, and we haven't formatted chapters and all that, so I can't answer. I'm thinking it's at least 200 pages, but that's an educated guess right now. We won't know until we have the cover down because we're not sure how big to make the book. So that's kind of how this all comes together. It's actually a more in-depth process than I remembered last time. So don't know. I think my goal was about 200, but I don't know the answer yet. Oh, thank you. Happy is the cutest. She looks like a teddy bear to me. Yeah. Where are you going to start your live seminar in SoCal area? I don't know yet. I probably will do the live seminar first in Fresno, my market. Maybe even do some trips around to test it out. My guess is next year at this point. But yeah, I'm not. And then in SoCal, don't know. My intention is to ultimately do them around the country, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know yet. I'll do them. I'm going to do them, but I don't know when. Probably next year. How do you find the affordability index for the city I live in? NAR has lists of cities, but I don't see mine. Again, I don't know what city you're in. Google is your friend. What I would look up is your major metro. Like you might be looking in a town or a city, I don't know, that's smaller. They only do it for what's called MSAs, which are the bigger areas. So you should be able to find them for your locations. One thing you need to realize is not every location calculates it the same way as California. When you hear me talk about Fresno being a 42, last time got down to 20. Those are California numbers. Like the lumberjack talks about His goes to like 300. So every state does them differently. What I would tell you to do with your affordability index is go look at 2000, 2005, 2010, 2015, 2020. Figure out where you are in the cycle. But yeah, my only answer is Google. And if you don't find it for your city, look for the big town or bigger city near you. Do you think we could be headed towards negative rates in the near future? Well, I think we have negative rates today. We have negative real rates today. Let that sink in. Inflation is 5%, 6%. Interest is under 1. We have negative rates today, folks. So we're not heading to negative rates. We have negative rates. Now, this question is obviously about negative nominal interest rates. No, I do not think we will have negative nominal interest rates. No, I do not. As long as we are the reserve currency of the world, I don't see that happening. Although, but remember, negative nominal interest rates, meaning printed, it means nothing. We have negative rates today. We have negative rates today. That's one of the reasons I'm borrowing debt, because why not? I can get ready for something going forward. So, yeah. Sam Zell was actually a big buyer in the 80s, early 80s. Sam Zell has a book, a biography, which I've read. I like Sam Zell. Talk about a guy who has no filter. Woo! If you're going to listen to Sam Zell speak, you better get ready for the F-bombs. He does not hold back. But yes, Sam Zell was a huge buyer in the 80s. He was called the grave dancer. Grave dancer? Yeah, he was called the grave dancer. I think so. Grave dancer. Yeah, he was a big buyer of everything in the 80s. Okay, folks, I'm down to the bottom here. Remember, I'm here for your questions. So if you have them, ask them. Last one here. Good morning. Do you buy warranty on investment properties? FYI, I closed one property yesterday. Emailed you details. Thanks. Oh, cool. I guess I haven't seen that email yet. I will send you a card. I did not see that. I checked my email. I didn't see it. Oh, I'll check later. Congratulations. No, I don't buy warranties. I used to. The first 5 years, I bought a warranty on everything. I think I did a video with Hemlane, Dana, about this. My experience with warranties is the company, once you want to make a claim, will do everything to get out of it. So I bought warranties on my first 5 or 6 properties. I had a claim, I think on the 5th one they denied. I had a claim on the 6th one they denied. I will never buy them again. Yeah. But that's been my experience. Maybe yours could be different. Am I Being Too Subtle is a great book. Yes. Is that Sam's book? Yeah. I think that's the name. Yeah. If you haven't researched Sam Zell, he is a hoot. And again, he's who I want to be when I grow up. He's just raw, doesn't care what you think. You ask him a question, he'll tell you. He doesn't guarantee you'll like the answer. He's fun. He's a fun guy to listen to. Just kind of sits there and just lets it go. He's fun. All right. What else do we got going on? Any other questions today? Anybody else seeing discounts? Again, I'm asking my students to talk about discounts they're seeing. I saw a note yesterday about big drops in prices, big inventory, all that stuff. Do me a favor, hit thumbs up. We got 100 people watching and 27 thumbs up. If you can hit some thumbs up for me, that would be great. Thank you for all the interactions. I enjoy this. Hi, Rob. First time. Oh, let's see. Rob, note worth the paper they are written on. Not worth the paper they're written on. Okay. Thank you for all your videos and hope. Good. Yeah, but about hope. Yeah, that was a big deal for me. Yeah, we again, right? Think about what I do every week. I talk to 7 or 8 multimillionaires every week for you. And we tackle 3 topics. So that's 24 conversations. We can talk about the path, the journey, the warnings, but if you don't have hope, you won't do blank. That sucks. I talked earlier on about a family member who has given up and wants to blame everybody else for their choices. Why? They have lost hope. They feel trapped. They can't get out of their own way. Hope. And then we talked to Anna Kelly. That's 70% stat of people in housing, kids, teenagers in housing stay. That is not okay. That is what we should be talking about at the highest level of our government. How do we help that? The fact that that is 70% is terrible, horrible, disappointing. Every government official needs to wear that as a badge of embarrassment. We have failed. We have failed to see an entire generation have hope. Oh, it makes me mad and sick at the same time. It hurts. Okay, Rob, how you doing? First time here, new subscriber as well. Cool. You're awesome. Thanks for your time. Question, does working overtime keep up with inflation? I'm assuming you get paid time and a half. I don't know your wage. What I would tell you to do if this was me working overtime is every overtime dollar is meant to be saved. Work your 40 hours to pay the bills, use overtime to save and buy assets. I wouldn't worry about inflation. Inflation is there, but your job is to save and buy assets, save and buy assets. Work, save, buy assets. Work, save, buy assets until your assets replace your income. Do you see foreclosures in any area? Should I buy now or wait until foreclosures happen? Athena, I don't know your market. I can tell you any foreclosures are likely short sales. I believe short sales, just like last time, will dwarf foreclosures. The last number we saw from all the forbearances is 1.1% of properties were going to foreclosure, which is less than 40,000 units. So yeah, we'll have some foreclosures, but they'll be gone in a minute. And also, Wall Street has hundreds of billions of dollars to buy every foreclosure, so we will never see them. So my suggestion, Athena, is to do the work, look at your buy box every day, and be like one of my students and write offers only on good or great deals. Yes, discounts, almost 20% discount over what it was under for 3 months ago. I think you are talking about, Lumberjack did a deal where he found a foreclosure and he got it for a significant discount. I think we talked about that on Thursday. So they're out there, but they're not going to. People expect foreclosures to be like '08, and hopefully I put that to bed. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. What is your opinion on REITs? I don't have an opinion. I don't invest them. I don't know. As always, I can only tell you what I do. Don't do them. Don't know. That's a good question. When do you see real estate happens in the future? So my biggest takeaway from doing 50 years of research is really what the answer to that question, Sean, is 2 to 3 years after we start lending to people that shouldn't be homeowners. That's the answer. And that could happen again. We could repeat what we did. And again, remember the stats I gave you last time. 42 to 46% of borrowers, approved borrowers in 06 were subprime. Today it's less than 5%. If we ever start lending 50% of yes answers to subprime borrowers, we will crash 2 or 3 years later. And that could happen. Absolutely could happen. I expect this current administration, which has been called the handout administration by one of our experts, I expect this administration to hand $15,000 to $20,000 to $25,000 to first-time homeowners. They're going to give everybody the down payment. That is going to make some borrowers who can't save a nickel become homeowners, and then they will lose it 2 or 3 years later. So the answer to when we have a real estate crash is 2 years after we start selling or closing on loans to people that shouldn't get loans. It'll happen again. It always does. And it could be this administration where it starts. But again, it'll go from 5% to 10% to 15 to 20 to 25 to 50%. Once we get there, 2 years after is when the housing crash will happen. what do we got? Do you recommend gifts of equity when purchasing property from family? No. No. No, I do not. The market in Texas is still high, but seeing price adjustments. Yes. How do you feel about buying new construction, high price in Arizona, but has good cash flow? Rents are skyrocketing. Mike, I have never seen, and again, this is only me, I've never seen a new construction cash flow. So if you can, why not? You're going to have lower maintenance, assuming the builder has inequality at all. But I have never seen a new construction have cash flow. But if you can, great. Yeah, I mean, I will buy whatever is the best deal. What do I teach in my course? Learn your market, understand average. If average is 6, buy 8. And if new construction's 8, buy 8. Yeah, don't know Tucson, but yeah, man, if you can cash flow new construction, why not? What are good ways to evict tenants who don't pay rent for 3 months using eviction moratorium as escaping rent payments? First off, you need to involve a tenant attorney, landlord tenant attorney. Don't do it yourself. Don't do it yourself. Don't do it yourself. Likely, Antonio, when you, hopefully, when the tenant signed a lease, there are rules. The only way I've been able to evict tenants during this moratorium is when they break rules. So go figure out which rules they might be breaking. Subletting, cleanliness, music, whatever it is. That's the only way you can evict today, in my experience. What is the latest talk about the moratorium considering the Supreme Court, and what are your thoughts about the commercial real estate timeframe crash scam? Scam. So I don't know. The moratorium, we're going to know. It's in the Supreme. It's going to the Supreme Court this weekend. We're going to know next week. The next week we will know. The Supreme Court's going to take it and rule soon, or they're going to delay till October. I don't know the answer. Commercial real estate, probably a year or so after interest rates rise. And I don't know what you mean by scam. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. And another question, what are your thoughts about the huge amount of debt the U.S. has accumulated? That is crazy. Yeah, we have a problem. We have too much debt, and it's only going up. That's a problem. It is actually why I think the Fed will be boxed in. I don't know that the Fed's going to be able to raise rates as probably high as they should. It is going to be a problem. And debt payments are really a drag on an economy. What people don't really realize is debt's a drag on the future economy. It is going to be a problem. Taxes have to go up. That's why 2 days last week, I highlighted that only 39% of American families paid taxes, federal taxes. 61% of American families paid zero federal income tax. I feel like an idiot being in one of the 39%. Taxes are going up. We can't have 61% of Americans pay zero tax and have this debt. Taxes are going up on the middle class. It just is. The government can do all of their hand waving. Taxes are going up. Taxes are going up. The debt has to be paid. No matter what you say, it has to be paid. Do you think home prices will come down to pre-COVID prices or only up? Art, I think there will be some cities that reset. They will likely be small towns. The one closest to me that I can think of is Lake Tahoe, California. Lake Tahoe is a town of probably 10,000 homes. It was inundated with Silicon Valley money. Now prices have gone up, I don't know, 120%. Once we have to go back to the office, once we go forward and have a recession, Lake Tahoe will come down. It is priced at stupid levels today. But that is not most areas. Most areas, it's affordable. People talk about price like that's the only answer. Hopefully you've seen by now it's not price, it's payment, it's income. I think incomes go up. I think incomes go up. I think incomes go up. Look at the 70s, folks. I keep telling you, That 50 years of research, I'm so glad I went back to the 70s. The 70s is going to unlock the Rubik's Cube or the riddle going forward. Do you recommend buying properties in the same area, diversifying across country? It's funny. I sometimes write for a magazine called Think Realty. I just did an article yesterday called Diversification. And I use Charlie Munger's quote. Charlie Munger's quote basically says diversification. I think diversifying just to diversify is kind of like eat your vegetables. People just say it and believe it without having any evidence. I have only invested in one market. I only know one market. I will never go to another market because building a network, building a team, learning is hard. I think if you go to other markets, you guaranteed to get ripped off, right? If you're in 7 markets, you got one house in 7 markets, somebody's ripping you off because you can't watch them all. What are the top 3 cities you would invest in now? I have no idea. I don't ever look. No idea. You bought in Texas and Alabama? Congratulations. That's awesome. Scam. Louis Roseman, the pillar of sin. Oh, House of Cards. Didn't talk to you in the comments. Yeah. Yes, but I didn't know what that was in reference to. Sorry. Yep. Thanks. Yep. Oh, you're talking about the. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about now. So yeah, there's if you've ever been to China, which I have a couple of times, China has these big towers, supposedly apartment buildings that are skinned with nobody in them. There are yeah, there are some vacancies out there. But there's also a lot of landlords that refuse to rent. There are people that comment on my channel, I'm going to keep my units vacant until the eviction moratorium is over. Good for them. Diversification is protection against ignorance. Yep. It makes little sense if you know what you're doing. Yep. Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. Charlie Munger's fun. Charlie Munger's like Sam Zell. He's just like, blah. I like those guys. Charlie Munger, I think, is like 93. Talk about a guy who doesn't give a blank. Woo! He don't care. He's a billionaire and doesn't care. I think sub 2. I think sub 2 is going to be an amazing thing to get good at when we have the next recession. I don't know. That's a good question, Sean, about the 70s. I think some of that for sure, right? Because again, it's family of 4. So if you go from 1 to 2 families, it absolutely impacted the numbers. Certainly when you look at from 70 to 79, I don't know what the impact was year to year. But yeah, of course it did. Of course. Yep. Yeah, certainly did. What is the longest you've had a vacancy? Ever? I don't know, probably 3 weeks, probably. I bet you I had a vacancy a month. It's been a long time, but ever? I bet a month. It was an apartment, probably. I've never had a house vacant more than 2 weeks. Yeah, I've never had a house vacant more than 2 weeks. Camp Z, we are evacuated right now. I'm sorry. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Would love to hear your content from Washington, D.C. area POV. It's a unique market. Yeah. I don't talk about markets I don't know. Don't know. No idea. Never looked. My market's Fresno, California. I always get 100% of replacement costs. I've had 3 fires, Athena, and let me just tell you, getting those built back without taking money out of my pocket was awesome. Why do you think incomes goes up and not work get even more outsourced to lower paying countries? If income goes up, internal consumption rate of the US basically goes down, imports go up. I guess we'll see. I believe we are in a onshoring environment. I believe manufacturing will come back in bigger numbers. I believe more companies will realize that just in time manufacturing, when you have countries that don't like you, is not very good. So I believe, Tim, that wages are going to go up because we're going to produce more. What happens if America produces 50% more stuff in 5 years? I think it's going to happen. But, my crystal ball is as good as yours. You're welcome, Rob. 2 of my 3 units are vacant now. Just going to leave them. Yeah, lots of people are doing that. Oh, that's you just became a target of you can get sued for that. What you just said there. That is not cool. That is discriminatory. You will get in trouble if anybody records that. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, the fires. Okay, got it. The just watch the minimum wage. Watch people voluntary quitting is one that I would look at. Voluntary quitting is up. Voluntary quitting usually means they found another job. So voluntary quitting is a number you could watch. Do you have a rent loss endorsement? I don't know, a law of ordinance endorsement. I don't know. I don't know all of them. I think what you're asking with rent loss is like the fire units I had. Yeah, I got paid rent while that was being remodeled. Yep. I didn't lose any rent. I will, my LLCs will own everything. I will control everything and I will be happy. That is an awesome statement. Can a tenant be evicted for not leaving after expiration? I don't know what that means. Like a short-term lease? Yes. They don't have the same rights as a year tenant. Tesla robots. You guys are funny. All right, guys. Thank you very much for this. Again, we got 107 people watching. Great day, great conversations. Remember to give me thumbs up, leave comments below so more people can see this. And also, if you're ready to do the work, you want to do choices exercise, there's the course, Get Your Money Right. If you want to join the real estate family, it's how to get started one rental at a time. That's where Airbnb, Burr, PropStream, more videos are coming, more bonus stuff. So have a good day. I'm going to go check on Happy and then talk to my students at 9. Bye.